We have all heard the same story for years. The luxury industry is booming. The rich are spending more than ever. Everyone wants a designer bag. But that story is not just outdated. It is deliberately misleading. Because behind the glossy ad campaigns, celebrity endorsements, and influencer unboxings, something far more complicated is happening. Something the luxury houses will not admit publicly. The ultra-wealthy, the real top 1%, the clients who buy 5 bags at a time and spend $50,000 in a single appointment, are quietly walking away from some of the biggest luxury brands on earth. Not because they are broke, not because luxury is dying, but because the meaning of luxury has changed. And most brands did not evolve fast enough. Today, we are counting down 8 luxury bag brands that are facing an unavoidable collapse. Some are bleeding customers, others are bleeding money, and a few are bleeding both while pretending everything is fine. This is not about overexposure, not about inflation, not about recession fear. This is about a deeper shift, a prestige collapse. And no brand illustrates this power shift more brutally than the one we start with, the brand everyone assumes is untouchable. Let's begin. Number 8. Hermès. Hermès is the gold standard, the Everest. The one brand that influencers scream about, but almost no one truly reaches. And yet, even Hermès is quietly suffering a loyalty shift from the ultra-rich. Not because they had a collapse or a scandal, but because wealthy clients feel like Hermès exclusivity is slipping through their fingers. Here's what we mean. For decades, owning a Birkin meant one thing. You were part of a world most people would never enter. But something changed. Hermès expanded production. Not drastically, they are too smart for that, but just enough that the ultra-wealthy noticed. More Birkins flooding the resale market. More, I finally got my first Birkin TikTok videos going viral. More celebrities gifted bags that normal VIP clients waited years to access. According to recent reports, Hermès opened its 23rd leather workshop in 2024 and plans to open more over the next 3 years to increase production capacity. Sales grew $16.4 billion in 2024, with leather goods alone seeing 18% growth. But here is the problem. When production increases, when supply grows, when more people can finally access the dream itself loses power. And suddenly, the quiet whisper started. If everyone can get one, why should I want one? For the rich, status is not about the bag. It is about who does not have the bag. Hermès is still powerful, but the very bottom of its exclusivity pyramid is cracking. Also, once upon a time, the resale market protected Hermès. Now, it exposes them. Thousands of barely used Birkins flooding resale boutiques. YouTubers doing Hermès hauls, showing 6 bags in one video. TikTok resellers showing stacks of orange boxes like sneakers. According to Sotheby's, Hermès bags on the long, secondary market used to sell at 2 to 3 times retail price, but in 2024, auction prices showed softness, especially late in the year, while fixed marketplace prices remained mostly unchanged from 2023. To the wealthy, this sends one message. If resellers can get more Birkins than actual VIP clients, Hermès has lost control. Meanwhile, Walmart launched a viral Birkin dupe called the Workin for just $78 in late 2024. The dupe generated massive attention, prompting Hermès CEO Axel Dumas to admit it irritated and annoyed him during an earnings call. When your bags are being successfully replicated at less than 1% of the price, and those replicas go viral on social media, the exclusivity narrative fractures. Yet Hermès prices jumped from 6% to 7% in the US in 2025. The Birkin 30 Togo leather now costs $13,300, up from $11,600 in 2023. Analysts project the Birkin 30 will exceed $20,000 by 2030, with annual increases of 10% to 12% expected. Hermès is not collapsing. Hermès is not dying. Hermès is not even declining financially. But culturally, among the elite, they are becoming a victim of their own legendary success. Because when the rare becomes attainable, the rich quietly search for their next status symbol. And that leads us to Burberry. a brand that became the warning sign for what happens when overexposure goes nuclear and management changes happen faster than customers can keep up. Number 7. Burberry. Burberry did not just lose the rich, they lost everyone, including £41 million in operating profit in 2024. This brand is the single most dramatic example of what happens when luxury tries so hard to be mainstream that it becomes culturally homeless. There was a time when Burberry represented British aristocracy, old money, trenches, tailoring, quiet elegance. The brand had centuries of heritage, royal warrants, and cultural cachet money cannot buy. Then came the early 2000s, when the famous Burberry check exploded. But it did not just explode upward, it exploded downward. Counterfeits flooded the market. The pattern lost exclusivity. And suddenly, the brand became associated with an audience far outside luxury's traditional target. In the UK, the check became linked to chav culture, a devastating association that made wealthy shoppers avoid the pattern entirely. For wealthy shoppers, Burberry became radioactive. No one wanted to be seen in a pattern they feared might look fake. Burberry's last decade has been a tug-of-war between identities. Christopher Bailey's British Romanticism, Riccardo Tisi's streetwear goth era, Daniel Lee's attempt to modernize quiet heritage, which began in 2022. And now, rumors are swirling that Daniel Lee is preparing to leave as early as August 2025, according to industry sources. Members of his creative and design teams are reportedly job hunting in anticipation of his departure. That would mark Burberry's 4th CEO in a decade and another creative director change in under 3 years. Each era brought hype, but also confusion. Luxury dies when it cannot tell a consistent story, and Burberry has not told one in nearly 15 years. The numbers tell a brutal story. For fiscal year 2024, Burberry reported revenue of $3.273 billion, down 12%. Comparable store sales fell 12%. Adjusted operating profit decreased by 34%. But it gets worse for the business. The numbers tell a different story, a worse one. In the financial year 2025, Burberry posted its first operating profit, and it collapsed by 88% to just £26 million. The wholesale business collapsed 29%, with management expecting a steeper decline of approximately 35% for the full fiscal year. The only bright spot was licensing, which grew 5%, supported by fragrance sales. Free cash outflow reached £184 million. Net debt stood at £278 million, or £1.4 billion, after adding £1.1 billion of lease liabilities. The company suspended dividend payments to maintain balance sheet strength. Burberry shares have tumbled approximately 54% year over year at various points, destroying shareholder value while management scrambles for answers. New CEO Joshua Schulman, who joined in July 2024 from Michael Kors, another struggling brand, announced in November 2024 plans to course correct through a program called Burberry Forward. The program could impact around 1,700 roles globally by 2027 as the company restructures to survive. Burberry keeps trying to chase trends. Streetwear, logomania, check-heavy campaigns, then minimalism, then back to maximalism. Meanwhile, Hermès, Loro Piana, Brunello Cucinelli, all stable, consistent, heritage-anchored brands, are eating their lunch. The rich reward brands that stay true to themselves. Burberry abandoned its identity, and when identity dies in luxury, everything dies. Analysts at Third Bridge noted a critical problem. Burberry's signature trench coat, while an undisputed icon, poses a business challenge. As a lifetime product, it naturally limits the frequency of repeat purchases, unlike trend-driven items that bring customers back season after season. So what does this mean? It means Burberry built its reputation on a product people only need to buy once, and when they tried to diversify into fashion-forward pieces, nobody wanted them. But Burberry's problem looks small compared to the brand that had prestige, Hollywood obsession, red carpet dominance, and still lost the wealthy almost overnight because celebrity culture itself changed. Number 6. Jimmy Choo. If you lived through the 2000s, three words defined luxury shoes: Jimmy Choo. From Sex and the City to red carpets to music videos, Jimmy Choo was not just popular, it was the moment. The IT girl, the brand that made women save for months just to own one pair of those signature strappy heels. But the brand's biggest strength, celebrity obsession, became the exact thing that destroyed its prestige among the wealthy. That hype turned to overexposure. The rich hate one thing more than bad: craftsmanship. They hate looking like they are chasing trends. When every reality star on television wore Jimmy Choo, when every influencer owned the same glitter pump, when department stores stacked the brand like fast fashion, the wealthy quietly exited the room. To them, Jimmy Choo stopped feeling like luxury and started feeling like prom shoes, birthday night heels, and influencer starter kits. None of these categories scream wealth. Jimmy Choo is owned by Capri Holdings, which also owns Michael Kors and Versace. And Capri's struggles reflect across all three brands. In the financial year of 2025, Capri Holdings as a whole posted catastrophic results, with Michael Kors' revenue collapsing 14%. Jimmy Choo numbers are looking good. Industry analysts note the brand has struggled with the same accessible luxury trap that destroyed Michael Kors. For the Q4 of fiscal 2025, Jimmy Choo revenue was down by 2.9% at $133 million. Also, their competitors aren't slacking off either. Christian Louboutin weaponized the red sole into a signature so powerful it became more recognizable than the actual shoe. Amina Muaddi dominated nightlife with her sculptural heels. Aquazzura captured understated elegance. Valentino rock studs became modern classics. Jimmy Choo could not compete. Their designs stayed safe while the market evolved around them. When luxury becomes predictable, it becomes forgettable. They lost the culture war. Jimmy Choo was not built on heritage. It was not built on craft. It was built on trend cycles, red carpets, and paparazzi culture. But celebrity culture changed. Red carpet moments no longer dominate fashion influence. TikTok does. And TikTok wants one thing: new, constantly, every week. Jimmy Choo, once a powerhouse, became a relic of a different era. Not bad, not failing financially, but a brand the wealthy simply outgrew. And that brings us to a brand your competitors never analyze properly. A brand that looks strong on paper but hides one of the most interesting luxury decline stories today because it became the official starter bag for America's upper middle class. Number 5. Tory Burch. Tory Burch is one of the strangest stories in modern luxury. A brand that was never meant to be high luxury somehow became the official starter bag for half of America's upper middle class. And that is exactly what destroyed its prestige: that curse of accessibility. Tory Burch built an empire on two things: affordable, aspirational design and extremely wide retail presence. But here is the paradox. When everyone can afford a brand, the wealthy no longer want it. And honestly, this is the major problem that brands deal with. They want to scale up and have new markers, but that leads to them losing what made their brands attractive in the first place. For Tory Burch, the Miller sandals, the Kira shoulder bag, the Robinson tote, they did not just sell well. They sold so well that they became uniforms, and the rich hate uniforms. It was not that Tory Burch lost quality. It was not that their designs became worse. It was not even that their marketing changed. It was far simpler. The brand became too familiar, too safe, too common. Luxury to the rich is a secret language. But Tory Burch became a billboard, and they did something else. Tory Burch made the classic mid-tier luxury mistake. They expanded through Nordstrom, Bloomingdale's, Saks, Macy's, outlets, airport stores. This made billions in sales, but it removed every trace of exclusivity. By 2018, even entry-level luxury shoppers considered Tory Burch basic. And once that label attaches, it is impossible to shake off. We covered earlier how the wholesale business collapsed. Tory Burch bags that originally retailed for $400 began appearing at outlets for $69. In some cases, prices dropped below $40. Social media shoppers documented the carnage. Designer bags priced lower than Forever 21 purses. Fashion TikTok made jokes. Tory Burch feels like a brand that peaked in 2015 and never updated its mood board. The comparisons to suburban mom aesthetics became so widespread that even loyal customers felt self-conscious carrying the Portsevire's bags. Here is the twist nobody talks about. Tory Burch is financially successful and well-run. They dominate upper-middle-class office workers, suburban moms, college students, and travel shoppers. But these groups do not define elite luxury trends. And the ultra-wealthy? They want novelty, scarcity, status layering, subtlety. Tory Burch offers none of that. The brand did not fail. It simply became something the wealthy aged out of, a category they visit only as nostalgia. Meanwhile, brands like Bottega Veneta, Loro Piana, Celine, and Loewe became the new quiet luxury symbols, leaving Tory Burch stuck in a category the rich avoid, the middle. Tory Burch became a victim of its own accessibility. But brand number 4 suffered something far more visceral. A material innovation that once defined the brand became the very thing pushing the wealthy away. Number 4. Prada. Beyond the nylon bag. Prada is respected, historic, intellectual, architectural. And yet, among the wealthy, Prada has a very specific problem. Too much of its identity became tied to nylon and Saffiano, materials once innovative, but now everywhere. The brand built an empire on 2 textures, and now those textures are a trap. The re-edition nylon bag went viral twice. First in the early 2000s, then during the pandemic-era resurgence. But virality comes with a cost. Nylon is no longer aspirational. It is mainstream casual wear. Rich buyers feel strange paying $1,700 for a material associated with gym bags, backpacks, travel totes, and fast fashion dupes. The middle class embraced Prada nylon with enthusiasm. The wealthy quietly stepped away from it. Financial data shows Prada Group performed relatively well versus peers in 2024, reporting continued resilience and maintaining a net cash position. The company even explored M&A opportunities, showing confidence while competitors scrambled. But perception among the ultra-wealthy has shifted. The bags the middle class loves are precisely the bags the wealthy avoid. Prada's Saffiano leather was once a luxury innovation. Scratch-proof, structured, elegant. But then every brand copied it. Every mall brand adopted it. Every counterfeit maker mastered it. And suddenly, Saffiano leather became a symbol of mass luxury, not elite luxury. This does not mean Prada bags are low quality. Not at all. But in luxury, perception beats reality. To wealthy buyers, Saffiano equals predictable, nylon equals overexposed, Prada equals inconsistent storytelling, and when a brand loses clarity, the rich pivot fast. Prada's runway collections remain critically praised. Their ready-to-wear pieces sell extremely well. Their menswear is on fire. Prada is creatively thriving. But the bag division? That is where the loyalty dip exists. The ultra-wealthy prefer Loewe Puzzle, Bottega Cassette, Celine 16, Loro Piana Extra Bag, Dior Book Tote, Hermes Anything. Prada bags sit in a strange middle ground. Not quiet luxury, not loud luxury, not maximalism, not minimalism. A brand with identity, but an identity blurred by too many classic entry-level styles. Prada's materials became too democratic. But brand number 3 faces a different crisis. A logo so iconic, it became the very thing pushing the wealthy away because visibility is no longer what rich people want. Number 3. Saint Laurent, YSL. Saint Laurent is powerful. Demand is high. The branding is flawless. And yet, among the ultra-wealthy, YSL is respected but not desired. They wear the clothes, they buy the boots, they adore the blazers, they worship the tailoring, but the bags? That is where the divide appears. Let us talk about the logo. The YSL logo is gorgeous, iconic, recognizable from across a room. But that visibility is the exact issue. The rich avoid large logos unless the brand offers extreme exclusivity. This is the problem that other brands too are also facing. It has become the game of the bigger the logo, the less exclusive it feels. The likes of Hermes and Loro Piana understand this perfectly. Now, YSL is about to learn the same lesson. The wealthy think it is too available, too replicated, too often discounted, and too widely adopted by early luxury consumers. The logo that made YSL explode is the same logo pushing the wealthy away. Saint Laurent bags became the starter luxury purchase for millions. The college bag, the Lulu, the Kate, the Sunset. These bags are everywhere. TikTok is flooded with them. Resale stores have walls full of them. And the wealthy pay close attention to this. They do not care about price. They care about rarity. When a bag becomes too recognizable, too common, or too easy to buy, the elite treat it as fashion wallpaper. Saint Laurent sits firmly in parent company Kering's portfolio, which has struggled overall, while specific YSL bag division numbers are not broken out. Kering reported weak performance across multiple brands in 2024 and 2025, suggesting Saint Laurent is not immune to broader pressures. YSL designs are clean, modern, and architectural. But there is an unintended side effect. The brand is consistent, but the bags begin to look interchangeable. The silhouettes blend together. Lulu, Puffer Light, Sunset, Solferino, College. Le 5A7, Manhattan. Consistency is great for branding, not great for high luxury desirability. The super rich crave pieces that feel limited, feel personal, feel unmistakably recognizable, signal insider knowledge. Saint Laurent rarely offers that level of uniqueness, which is why, among elite buyers, YSL is more of a wardrobe basic brand than a luxury trophy brand. Strong, stylish, successful, but not exclusive, not rare, not precious. And when it comes to luxury, those three words define everything. Saint Laurent proves that even beautiful, well-made bags can fail to capture the wealthy when they become too common. But brand number 2? This one lost the richest women on earth through a single catastrophic decision that erased decades of loyalty overnight. Number 2. Celine. This is the most dramatic luxury departure of the last decade, and it started with a single decision: replacing Phoebe Philo with Hedi Slimane. Under Phoebe Philo, Celine was not just a brand, it was a movement. Philo created the luggage, the belt bag, the trio, the trapeze, and an entire language of minimalist luxury that defined intelligent, powerful, wealthy women who did not want logos. Her audience was not influencers, it was not trend chasers, it was not teenagers, it was the silent ultra-rich, the ones who buy quality for themselves, not for validation. Celine became the uniform of CEOs, gallery owners, architects, diplomats, and old money families who only wore pieces other rich people could identify. It was the original quiet luxury, the foundation upon which brands like the Row and Loro Piana built their empires. And then everything changed. Celine switched to Hedi Slimane. Slimane is talented, iconic, commercially gifted, but his aesthetic is opposite Philo's. Within months, the brand dropped the accent from Celine to Celine. Entire archives were discontinued. Logo and silhouette-forward designs took center stage. The faithful did not just feel disappointed. They felt erased, betrayed, abandoned. Philo loyalists, some of the wealthiest fashion consumers in the world, completely abandoned the brand. And this was not a small audience. This was a multi-billion-dollar demographic. Fashion insiders estimate that Slimane's Celine caters to a younger, more trend-focused customer, while Philo's Celine served ultra-high net worth women who valued timelessness over trend cycles. The result? Two completely different customer bases that do not overlap. Here's the plot twist. Phoebe Philo's old Celine pieces now sell for more on resale than new Celine bags. The luggage and belt bag have cult-level staying power. Philo-era bags gained an entirely new economic life. Auction houses feature them, Japanese collectors hoard them, wealthy women treat them as trophies. Resale prices increase annually. Meanwhile, new Celine bags rarely generate cultural impact or investment-grade status. Slimane's Celine is strong and ready to wear, but the bag identity, the thing Philo perfected, is fragmented. The wealthy left not because the brand became bad, but because the brand stopped speaking their language. And when a brand alienates its most valuable customers, the damage may be permanent. Celine destroyed its relationship with the ultra-wealthy through creative mismanagement. But brand number 1? This collapse is the most surprising of all because it is happening to the one brand people assume is immune to failure, the brand proving that even perfecting quiet luxury cannot save you when your aesthetic gets copied by every fast fashion brand on earth. Number 1. Bottega Veneta. Bottega Veneta is one of the only brands in this list that did not fall from grace. It simply peaked too hard, too fast, and now it is paying the price for its own success. When Daniel Lee took over in 2018, everything changed. The cassette, the pouch, the jodi, the intrecciato renaissance, the square toe revolution. These designs were so strong, they redefined modern luxury. They created a new visual language that every brand tried to copy. But success creates a double-edged blade. When a minimal brand becomes a megatrend, it stops feeling minimal. Quiet luxury requires quiet. Bottega became loud about being quiet. TikTok flooded with cassette bags. Celebrities wore the jodi weekly. Streetwear kids adopted the puddle boots. Counterfeits exploded across every platform. The rich started noticing. Financial data shows that within Kering's portfolio, Bottega Veneta posted revenue of €393 million in Q3 2025, up 3% on a comparable basis, with retail sales growing 5%, led by double-digit growth in North America. Those are solid numbers, especially while Gucci implodes and the luxury market contracts. But the cultural heat? That has cooled dramatically. Daniel Lee's departure in 2021 shocked the industry. Matthew Blazy stepped in and brought deeper artistry, hand-woven calamero, sardine handlebags, a refocus on extreme craftsmanship, a lean away from trend silhouettes. However, Lee's audience wanted hype. Blazy's designs are slower, more subtle, more artisanal. For the ultra-wealthy, this was good. They appreciate craftsmanship over hype. For the trend-driven audience that discovered Bottega during the Lee era, it was not. And luxury brands live at the intersection of both audiences. One of the biggest reasons wealthy buyers stepped back is simple. Bottega became the most replicated bag language on Amazon, Shein, and TikTok. When a quiet luxury brand becomes the most copied designer aesthetic in the world, the rich feel betrayed. Because wealth signals work like this. If everyone can copy it, if everyone can access the look, if everyone can replicate the style, then the value collapses. It does not matter that Bottega is genuine luxury. It only matters that the look no longer feels elite. Fast fashion brands perfected the woven leather aesthetic. Budget retailers sold Bottega-inspired bags for $40. Influencers posted Bottega dupe hauls that got millions of views. And the wealthy watched all of this happen in real time. The elite did not leave the brand entirely. They simply moved away from the overexposed icons. They left behind cassette, jodi, pouch, arco, and mini jodi, which oversold online and moved toward calamero bucket. Città leather totes, knot clutches, sardine handle, and soft intrecciato runway pieces. The rich did not want the Bottega everyone has. They wanted the Bottega nobody knows how to talk about. And that distinction defines modern luxury. Bottega Veneta proves that even doing everything right, even creating beautiful products, even maintaining quality, does not guarantee cultural heat when your aesthetic becomes too easy to replicate. The brand has not lost the rich entirely, but it has lost the exclusivity that made it special in the first place. And in luxury, once you lose that, you never get it back. The final summary: why the rich left these brands. Not because they stopped making beautiful products, but because they lost the one thing luxury cannot survive without: exclusivity. From Hermès, expanding production just enough to crack their exclusivity foundation, which of these brands shocked you most? Are you still loyal to any of them? Or have you quietly moved on too? Drop your thoughts below. Hit that like button. Subscribe so you never miss our next deep dive into the hidden dynamics of wealth, status, and the brands desperately trying to capture both. Because in luxury, nothing is permanent. Not success, not status, and definitely not survival.